power.
Okay. Okay.
They'll plug in there. Like I said, they shoot off the back. The reason you want to be careful if the door's open is if the door's open and it shoots off, it's going to shoot it into that
Gotcha.
the wall.
And it's not like watch out. I mean, it just pops them off, but it messes up the graphics. This is what runs the battery charger and all the plugs on the inside. You're going to have two of them here, but that one you probably want plugged in all the time, and then this one runs the AC system. You're going to have both, so it's good. When they're plugged in, this little light will come on telling you that there's power to the truck.
Okay.
So those lights will stay on.
Charging good.
Correct.
So what if they run in from the concrete, can't we park them over there then?
No.
Why do you have to break the concrete?
No, it's just gonna be like, I'll show you later. I'll show you. It's not this whole thing, it's just a small piece.
Oh, okay.
There's the key.
Okay. So here's the generator. Maintenance wise, it isn't going to be you guys, but this is where you check the oil at. This is coolant. So I typically tell folks pull it and look for oil on the stick. If it's on the stick, you're good to go. But I will tell you, if you run the truck less than a quarter tank of fuel and you have the generator on, the generator's going to die out. So the reason that happens is because when you hit a quarter tank, it's reserving the last quarter for the chassis to make it to get to fuel. When that happens, it's going to catch air and the generator's not going to start again. So you can't run these trucks below a quarter tank of fuel with the generator running. And if you're going to do that, then shut the generator off before you get to a quarter tank. If you do that, when you fill it back up, you have to get a wrench and you have to loosen this up right here. And you have to prime the system to get the air back out of the generator.
So we're refilling at half tank? What you're saying?
Yeah. Just don't...
No quarter tank with the generator on.
Yeah. The key is don't run the generator...
You have to put that on the top.
Less than a quarter.
Right.
You know, and the flip side is it's not a critical failure. It's just, if it's 110 outside, it's only going to be 76 in the back of the truck on that day when the generator won't start. It'll just sit here, it'll try to start and it'll sputter, and it's just got air in it. So, any questions on generator? Service intervals, we'll go through that. It's 100 hours. I saw this thing has 110 on it, so it's probably due for service. This right here, it's more than you want to know, but this is the breaker for the generator. So like if there was an overload issue or whatever the case is and this tripped, you have to push it back up to reset it.
Is that where the filter is at up here?
That's the AC. So this is the 110 AC unit. So when the generator's running or it's plugged in, that's the unit that'll run. What you'll notice is it's going to pull air on this side and it's going to shoot it out the back wall. So that vent in the back, when the unit's actually running, it's blowing air out the back. It's another thing that's maintenance that you want to keep clean. Sounds silly, guys? Diesel, not gas.
Yes.
DEF, nothing else. If you accidentally put gas or diesel or anything in DEF, or you put DEF in fuel, it's about a $6,000 accident. So just be careful.
That's important.
Yeah. All right, so here is
diesel exhaust fluid.
Let me educate you guys.
all right. So this is kind of blocked. It's kind of blocked out because there's a bunch of electrical here, a bunch of electrical right on the bottom, and then there's electrical here in the front. So here's your med air compressor, your filter of the air that's coming in. This is the small tank that I was talking about. This right here is the water separator. So what you guys will have to do from time to time is actually come in, unscrew that, and let the water out of the system. And then this is the pressure regulator. So this is what the line pressure is looking at. Right now it's fine, but if you have an issue with line pressure, and you're having to recalibrate it or change the pressure, this is the valve you change. So from right here to right here is high pressure.
You get on this side.
You're fine.
There you go. Right
this is high
Let me sit
pressure.
over here, right here.
So this hose here is probably going to have about 100 pounds of pressure on it, and then it knocks it down to 50, which fills the tank. The reason the tank's in line on the line is so that when that vent comes on and sucks that, you know, blast of air, you've got a little bit of a capacity. You'll notice that the compressor, we put an end on it right here to unplug, and the reason for that is these compressors, after time, they're mechanical, they're gonna fail. It's easy to replace them. You unbolt the thing, unscrew it, put another one back in, plug it in. Inverter. So the inverter's down here, that runs off the chassis. The battery charger is that thing too. So when it's plugged into the Shoreline, you'll see down here there's a battery, and it'll say bulk. So when you plug it in, it might go to bulk, and then it might start flashing after once it catches up, and then it'll turn green. So battery charger, inverter. What's there to know about it? The resets are up above them right here. It's little 30 amp resets. There's a 15 there too. If for whatever reason you start the truck, you don't have power inside, check this and check your breakers right here. Everything has GFIs on it, and that's why we've talked with electrical. If you put a double GFI, you're gonna have problems because you got a GFI on this side, GFI here, they clash and it'll trip the GFIs. So anyways, on the bottom is the generator control panel. So this switch has to be on right here for the generator to start, stop, function, do anything. And then it has to be in auto mode. So it's kind of pushed back in there, but you can see it right here on the bottom. Yeah. Here. You can push that auto button and you'll see it light up. Okay. So if I wanted to start it from the outside, I can push the run button. But once you start it from the outside, the switch panels inside don't do anything. They won't work. So you have to stop it from the outside. Then once it's off, you want to go back into auto. And now it's sitting there, and it'll start when the batteries are low, or if you push the button on the inside. Any questions? Feel okay about this med air?
You shouldn't have to do anything with it, though.
No,
right? No.
It's water. That's the most common problem. When you're outside and you're gonna get moisture in it.
How often do you have to clean it? Is it?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I would probably have to ask the folks that have them and go from there. We did put a bigger one on your truck because that was one of the complaints before, is that the water separator wasn't big enough and they were having to drain it more than they wanted to.
More often.
So we put the biggest one that we could find and put on it. All right. That door shuts first. Oh, only other thing, you're not going to do this, but behind this panel right here is where the airbag sensors and the deal that make them come out are at. That's why it's marked. So
Storage stuff.
storage, another compartment. There's one area here if you have to carry a backboard, state mandate stuff, whatever. Road triangles, jumper cables, all the stuff that's required.
So Allegiance is supposed to come today, and they're gonna load it all with the all the requirements that are going to be done for state. Because tomorrow, the plan is that sometime tomorrow they're going to come and they're going to inspect them, and then hopefully have everything done. So they're going to bring everything, the supplies and everything in the back as well.
I'm curious if that's an accessory you have to buy separate, but are you guys getting a scoop for this thing, or for the ambulances?
A scoop?
You know that it's kind of like a backboard thing that
Comes apart.
Comes apart, meets in the middle, and you screw it down, and then you're able to pick the patient up.
Nope, it wasn't on a plan, but
I mean, I know I've used it a couple of times on transport. That's the only reason I asked.
I don't know, maybe.
There is.
Was that just because you had like a large patient, heavy patient, or?
It was a C-spine precaution thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I I think that's probably
Because
one
you
thing
really
that
don't
you
want
guys
to leave them
wanna
on the
do.
backboard,
Because,
for very long because of breakdown.
Yeah.
Once
We're
it's
picking
getting
up
stolen
somebody
now,
that, they're worried
so
about that.
7890.
Save you how much, a lot of moving around. You just stick it underneath them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Together,
just
stick
leaving
holes
it
in
ready.
it. It's aluminum. It's like,
I don't know. I have to look at it.
Well, let's
Go
look
ahead.
at that before we leave.
Go ahead. What was that?
I was asking what's
Program
the
the key
code.
code
He
to
doesn't
what y'all
know.
want it.
Yeah.
So then they
I
can
don't know. I
lock it.
probably would. I would think that maybe put just like the transport phone number.
Yeah, or something like that.
Something you guys all know. 7/8 locks it, and then the code will unlock it. It locks with it running. So the advantage of that is when you pull up to the hospital and you hop out.
Yeah.
Now remember, it locks all the module doors too. So you're gonna have to open the back doors before you actually lock it, because it's gonna lock everything. But that's pretty cool
You
because
can't
your
get
whole
out.
box is locked.
You can see the boys locking it.
All right, so on the inside, you hear that alarm there. The reason the alarm's going off is because it's saying that the battery is low. It's not plugged in. The lights are on, stuff like that. The truck will always idle up. And the reason we did that was because we wanted the best AC. So when the truck's running, here in a second, it's gonna do that every time. So they step on the brake to go into drive, they can go into drive, they can drive, but as soon as they put it in park and their foot comes back off, it's gonna kick back up. It's for AC and then power. So you hear that fan? That's the fan I was talking about. On the panel here, it's really simple, guys. There's the start-stop for the generator. Siren is here. We've got USBs on both sides. We also have a 110 plug in the front. So if you have a rider, or I don't know if you guys take mom or dad or somebody along with you, their cell phones will plug in. You have both plugs. On the panel here, you see the switch. This is to turn it off manually. So right now, when you turn the key on and turn it back off, it stays on for 5 minutes. And the reason that is so if you do pull up somewhere and shut the truck off and you're getting out of the truck and you have a patient, your lights and everything will stay on until you can get out. If you want to manually shut it off, you push it 3 times, and on the 3rd time it shuts off. Now, if you wanted to manually wake it up for whatever reason, you can push it once and it'll wake up, and it's in 5-minute increments. So 1 push is 5, 2 is 10, 3 is 15, the 4th one it's going to shut off again. So I'll just manually turn it back on there. On this front panel, it's a little different than the back. So at the very top here, you have the emergency master. When you push that button, obviously emergency lights come on. The scene light we flashed because it was cool and it's right in the middle. The home screen will show you the O2 pressure, or the tank pressure, the temperature inside and outside. Don't take the outside temperature as the outside temperature and the inside as the inside. It's close, but the outside temperature comes from that little.
Yeah, earlier it was reading 69. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, it's coming from right behind
Yeah,
that little
okay.
plate. And then on the inside of the truck, I didn't point this out, but in the action area right there on this side by the panel, there's a little black thing, and it looks like how do you say it? Tech savvy people like pushing and pulling things. They get a hold of that. It's a temperature sensor, and so it sticks out a little bit. And the reason it sticks out is you're trying to get a temperature like in back of the truck versus at the wall.
Yeah.
Because if the sun's shining
Yeah.
on the wall, it's going to be warm.
Yeah.
The other thing that you can do here is control the AC, the 12 volt, so the one behind the seat. So they can click this button here, and you have the same panel as you saw in back, the climate control panel, and you can adjust it. So you can adjust it from the front.
Let me get on this other side out. I'm gonna come to the other end so I can get that. Let me get this over here.
You can also control the lights up here, 4 back there. You notice they're white up in the cab here. When the door opens, it turns white, but when they're closed, they're going to turn off. You can turn these on white or red. So if you're riding up front on the way back and you're trying to chart, or on the way there and you're trying to do something, you can turn yours red, and that's in the interior lights section. And then there's a button that's called apps. So the reason the apps button there is for troubleshooting. So we'll go to the Cool Tech screen. This is only for troubleshooting. You shouldn't be messing around in these sections unless there's something wrong with the truck. But we can manually test the fans. So that's all 4 of them running. And you can, it's just a testing screen. It tells us the pressure. If the AC doesn't work, I'll ask you to go to that screen and tell me what these numbers are, and we can tell from that pretty much what's wrong with it. The other section here in the apps is this service and network information. These are all of the inputs that come in, and it's telling you what's going on. So like if I turn the key on, that ignition's gonna turn red. So neutral safety is because I put it in, it knows it's in park. Now we have the ignition on. If I turn the right-hand turn signal on, it's showing that there's a deal there. If I turn the headlights on, we've got marker lights. So
I know one time when I was moving the ambulances and started them up,
right,
that little beep was constant.
it's a O2 pressure, O2 tank pressure is low.
Okay.
So to clear that, you'll hit this little button right there, and it'll quit.
So it went to home?
Yes. So let's say it's gonna do it right now. So if I go into gear, first it's telling us the doors are open and it's squawking for that, so I can clear that alarm. Now it's saying the O2 tank pressure is low. You can clear that as well. It's gonna do it until you put an O2 tank in it.
Okay, that's why. Okay, I was wondering, like, why is that thing continually beeping?
Yeah, just hit the warning reset and it'll shut off.
Okay.
The other thing to know in here is this fault detect. If we go to fault detect, if it gives you a fault, it'll come up here and it'll start alarming. It'll say fault detected, and it'll say, you know, N1 or whatever. It'll give us a code. If we get that code, we go to apps. We're gonna go to service and network, and then we'll go to fault detect screen, and then it'll tell you what that tells you what that means. Yep.
Now the other guy that was here the other day, their maintenance guy that came in, he wanted to look at the trucks. He asked if there was a little